Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm thrilled to be speaking with Temples. Right now we're backstage at their show at the Terragram Ballroom. They're fresh off a new record called Exotico, and I'm super excited to talk to them all about it. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being here. How's your day been so far?
Lovely, yeah. Seen a bit of LA and yeah, beautiful.
Pretty good. It's been a pretty good day.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
yeah, very welcome. Thank you for being here, but I guess I'm here because this is your room. So this is the last day of your tour, is that correct?
That's true, yes.
I guess I could save it for the end, or we could just knock it out right now. How has tour been? What has stuck out to you? What's been going on?
It's been a success in many ways, I'd say. We've had a great time. Yeah, been making the most of it. So nice to be back over here. There was a point when I think we all thought maybe we wouldn't make it back over here after all, the pandemic and everything, and it's difficult to tour. So we're just happy to be here. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, great audiences.
Yeah,
I think as well, coming back after such a long time, it's very easy to assume that like everybody's moved on and they're listening to something else now. And like we've just had so many like new fans at the gigs, which is
nice.
amazing. And like a mosh pit every gig, so it's almost like
That's
people
the
think
least
we're heavy.
surprising thing, to be
Yeah.
honest. But I mean, your music is primed for it. Although I feel like touring with Post Animal, you probably see that mosh first, and then it
Yeah.
carries over into the next.
Yeah,
the
we've
next
got
set.
them to thank for that. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
great band to support. Yeah, it's lovely.
Absolutely. So to really start here, I've listened to this record probably 10 times at this point over the last couple months, and it's such a step forward in your sound while also holding all those special little characteristics that make your music you. How do you go about creating a cohesion within those songs to really create the album experience?
I don't know, it just sort of happens, doesn't it? I think you almost have like a little bit of a like a there's a blueprint to whatever you do as songwriters,
Yeah,
as individual songwriters, but as songwriters within temples. And I think you can stray away from that, but you can't help but sort of have the core there.
sure.
And I think a lot of it comes down to the melody and the importance of rhythm, and that's always been our thing.
Yeah.
And I think this record, working with Sean, we got to explore maybe different avenues with songs, but like I just said, there's that core thing that if you recorded it with an acoustic guitar and a vocal with some reverb on it, it just sounds like a temple song.
Nice.
And so yeah, it's kind of
That's what it's all about.
it's on purpose, but at the same time, we don't sit there going, oh, we've got to make this sound more like temples.
Yeah.
It just
I
the
understand.
essence of it is
It happens,
yeah.
and that's a great answer.
Mm.
Obviously, a consistent standout in your guys' music overall has to be the production. Like when
Mm.
you listen on a nice pair of headphones,
Mm.
every nook and cranny is filled with this grandiose sound, and it's truly such a beautiful thing. Anyone that listens on their laptop speakers or their iPhone speakers is they're missing out. This record is different though because you guys brought on Sean Lennon to help produce.
Mm.
What did that look like behind the scenes, and are there any cool stories? Tell me about.
Too many cool stories to
Yeah,
go through in a short interview, but um, yeah, I mean, we did pre-production, so we'd sort of got the songs to where we were relatively happy with them, and then we were waiting until like lockdowns were lifted so that we could go over and actually to Sean's studio. But his process, South American process, his process, yeah, his process is kind of well, it's different to how we do things, but like we fell into that very quickly, didn't we? And I mean, the first day, what did we do? We did Head in the Clouds.
Was it? Yeah.
I think it was.
Mm.
On the first day, a whole new song got written out of an ending of a song.
okay.
So that was exciting,
Yeah, he played the producer role well, but he was also like the fifth member of the band
That's
for
awesome.
the 12 days we were there.
Nice.
Yeah, so he was quite involved with a little bit of writing here and there, and then yeah, these sort of interstitial things, like the added tracks in between, were a lot of his well, he came up, sort of said maybe we should do some of these. I don't know if we would have done them without his input.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. It was a pleasure to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, I think making music can be such an insular thing that sometimes having that outside person with their own expertise can help you think outside the box. And that's why I think this record sort of does expand on what you've created already, but it still has that like central feeling to it. Yeah, which I mean, yeah, the production. Also, Dave Fridmann helped mix this record, and he is a living legend. He's been a part of so many incredible records. How did that happen? Were you in the room for it? Like, what happened?
Sadly, we weren't in the room with him, but you know, with modern technology, you can be in your own studio with your own monitors, and he can be playing back his mix real time whilst on a video call. So, in many ways, I'd say that's kind of even better because you know your own speakers, you know your own monitoring setup in your own room. But Sean is good friends with him, and I think that whole thing started when we did Paraphernalia, which was the first song that we'd ever done with another producer, and that was in 2020. And Sean said, you know, I was thinking, you know, maybe like Dave Fridmann can mix it, and I think we were all like, what we can do that? Like, really?
Yeah,
You know,
just do that.
Right,
Right.
You sure what he wants to do it?
Yeah.
And so that was, you know, little did we know that we'd do a record with Sean and Dave. But Dave's, I mean, arguably, like what we've been doing, and you know, certainly since the first record, is trying to produce records that have a certain, they have a character to them.
Absolutely.
That, you know, and so in many ways, we've probably been subconsciously ripping off Fridmann's style in what we do already with like distorting drums and all this stuff, because he was kind of a pioneer of that.
Yeah, I suppose.
So it's nice to actually get to the actual person.
You
like,
know, hey, just in case you've heard any of our music before, I'm sorry. Like,
you can really hear that on Crystal Hall.
Yeah.
Like when we did that online with him, it was like, he was really cranking the drum, like distorting the drums. That was brilliant. It was like, is this too far? And it's like, I don't know, maybe let's try a bit more. And like,
I think we did get him to dial it back.
Maybe,
sure.
He's so lovely as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's so great.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think the cool thing about our website is that we don't hold ourselves to one genre of reviewing and interviews. It's all genres, all everything. And I think there might be a lot of people that are listening to you for the first time because of this. Are there a handful of songs on this record that you would recommend they check out to really get the full Temples feel?
I mean, all of it, really. Obviously,
click the play button.
I think every album has its sort of core thing. It has its sort of foundations, and I mean, definitely a track that really helped sort of reinvent some of the songs would have been the title track, which we didn't want to be the title track. We wanted to find an album name that wasn't the name of a song. But I remember like we hit on something on that track, and that's quite different because the drums are like way more sort of like breakbeat hip hop, but there's some sort of luxury holiday destination thing going on in that song. And I feel like on some of the other songs that came before it, we maybe treated those songs with a new perspective, with like a different concept. Once we had the album concept,
it was definitely a turning point, wasn't it? That song, definitely knew where to go after that. And I think it does encapsulate the record. That one song, Exotico. Yeah,
that's awesome.
But I think like the singles are, you know, singles for a reason, because they're like, you know, giving you some like amped up version of what's going on in the record. But like, you know, tracks like Slow Days, I mean, this is the first sort of time in America we've played any of the tracks from this record, but Slow Days has been like, it's felt like really at home on American soil.
That's awesome.
Like, I don't know why, but it just has that sort of, especially like West Coast vibe to it. And so that's definitely one for everyone to check out that isn't, you know, a single yet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Not to blow up your egos too much, but sincerely, you're one of my favorite rock groups of all time. Like the music that you make is just, it really like touches me in a way, and it like makes me think, who are some groups that you guys look up to?
Wow. In like the sense of being touched in that way.
Yeah, not
With-
even influenced or inspired, just
looking-
people that you're like, wow, like they're really doing the thing.
The Kinks.
Yeah.
I know they're not modern, but
It doesn't need to be.
some of Dave Davis's songs really get me. Do you know what I mean? And some of Ray's as well. But Dave's somehow he really sort of gets it right there, which is interesting.
He does have that. There's something.
Yeah.
Scott Walker is an ongoing obsession. I'm still not bored of everything he's done in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, like just those sort of string arrangements. There's something in that as well, where I think like we did a bit of that on this record, where we have string arrangements. But like those records, just amazing, and his tone of voice, and also just Sinatra. I've been going back and finding weird Sinatra stuff, and like
cool.
Yeah, like that Watertown album is brilliant. Yeah, something
The World
like
We
that.
Knew.
The World We Knew. That's an amazing song as well. People don't know that.
I think Todd Rundgren for me is also
Nice.
also like how he's making music and producing it himself and all that. It's really inspiring.
Very cool.
And his sounds he created back in the days, it's next
Yeah.
level.
Some of it is timeless. All those artists are timeless. You
Yeah.
can listen to them at any
Yeah.
point, and it's like this could be released today, and it just feels just as special.
Totally.
I love that thing. They set the base for the future. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like as a musician and an artist, you never stop learning, whether it comes to production or songwriting or just like any facet of making music. Are there some things that you took from recording the last albums that you took to recording this album?
Yeah, well, I think there always is. There's two ways of looking at it, because sometimes you can sort of try and forget what you did on the last thing so that you don't repeat yourself, or you can look at it a little bit more like, well, I feel like we've done this, so if we're going to do something that's like this, we've got to reimagine it. But the funny thing is, you don't really listen to your record. Like I can't remember really what Hot Motion sounds like. I know it sounds like live.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
But I think there's a thing that everyone falls into, where like sometimes simplicity, you feel like it's boring, so then you overcomplicate, and then sometimes what's really important is just to get something across in a direct way.
Sure.
And that's where production's amazing, because I mean, I'll just say Exotico as an example. It's really, really simple. Like it's like 2 chords basically at the core of the song. Now, if you sat there in the studio and said, I've got this idea for a new song, and it goes, G, C, whatever. I don't know whether it's in that key.
Yeah.
And you just sang that by itself without all of the production and all the sort of sound design going on. You'd probably be like, not sure about that. It's a bit boring, But I think there's something great about restraining yourself to like something. And I think like on Time Is a Light as well, like in the verses, you're pedaling on one note, but you're saying so much by having something that's simplistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're always learning, aren't we?
Absolutely, yeah.
Very cool.
That's what keeps it interesting.
Of course. Speaking on the lyric side of things, are there any specific songs on this record that hold a special meaning to you?
I think for all of us, probably differently. Yeah, because obviously we all write different parts.
Of course.
Some of them are collaborative, and some of them are, we've just sat there slaving away at home and doing it. But for me, Fading Actor is something I'm proud of, as like lyrically, and I'm never proud of my own lyrics. It's my weakest point. So, but yeah, that one feels like I knew exactly the story that was trying to be told.
Awesome.
There's nothing. There's metaphors, but it feels like for the purpose of telling the story, not just to be clever with words.
Right.